I'm giving the final method is over. This is a statement. So again, I have one more main method. So this is called public static void main string arguments of. Okay, I'll close this. Inside this, I'm creating a I'm going to create a object. So a is equals to, so new keyword and then of semicolon. So I've created. Now I'm calling this. So a dot, what is the method? Display of. So here in between, what I will do is I'm going to have one more subclass. Okay, subclass name is F. Okay, and it extends the this class. It's going to extend this class. So inside this, I'm going to call the same method. What I'm doing, I'm going to override this, right? I'm going to override this method again. See here, it is throwing an error. What is the error? Cannot override the final method. We cannot override this concept. Okay, and we cannot also use the final class. If example, I'm using a final class cannot be inherited by the another class. Okay, that is we cannot use extends keyword to implement this. So for this purpose, they have given the super keyword. So super keyword, what it does is, if you give the super keyword example, see here in this place, what I will do is I have this method and I've created one more that is overridden. So here I will use a one annotation. So annotation is nothing but it is for a programmer purpose. Okay. So override. I'm having this annotation. It is like a command line, the same like a command line, but it will not be executed in the compile time. You will not see the result of this. Okay, you will not see any result for this. It is just for notification. Okay, so here in this display method, here I'm not going to use a final. Okay, so but the same thing repeated. So if you want to call the super class, that is if you want to call this method, so how you should call this? So before I told you we cannot call the method which is overridden using the final keyword, but you can do that. How we can do that? Using a super keyword, super dot, what is the method name? Display of. So now the error will be gone. So super dot display of. So here I have mentioned it as 1 minute more. Okay, sorry guys. So here, if you see, uh, the first thing is I've given a class, and here, so here I'm not mentioned anything. Okay, just I'm giving as a void e talk, and here I'm just overriding the method. So if normally if I do this, what I will do? So you have to use the super keyword. Okay, let's check the output. Just right click and run as. So here you can see the final method is overridden. It has to be printed two times. And what are the different types of inheritance we know. And now we will check what is method overriding. So method overriding is defined in both the superclass and subclass. Then the method of the subclass overrides a method of superclass. This is known as a method overriding. So in interview point of view, they will ask what is the difference between method overloading and method overriding. So method overloading is what? Method overloading is nothing but if the method will be same but data types changes, and the parameter also we can change. Okay, so that is called as a method overloading. Overriding is nothing but if you are trying to override the method twice the time, then it is called as a method overriding. Okay, and what are the rules you need to follow? So rules means, see here I'm just deleting this. So what is the class name? It is final keyword. Okay, inside this, I'm creating one method. So public void display info. So within this, you mention system dot out dot println. So here I'll be giving some definition. So this is display info. Okay, and the next thing is I'm going to create one more class, that is a subclass. So I'm going to name this to be keyboard. And this corner extends the final keyboard. So this is a super class. So now I'm telling you about the method overriding rules. Okay. So after this, I'm creating a method same as this, just copy and paste it. But the inside the value is different. Okay. So I'm giving this to be a keyboard info. And finally, I'm going to give the class name as test. Within this, I'll be giving a main method, public static void main string arguments of. Okay, 1 second. So inside this, I've given this. So now, uh, using this subclass, I'm going to call the methods. So what is the subclass? Keyboard, and the variable name is a, and new operator keyboard of. And what is the object name? So it is a, and I'm calling the display info. So what happened is here, so it repeated, right? So the method got repeated. So you need to give a super keyword. So super dot display info. So you need to mention that within this subclass. Display info of semicolon. So why it is showing an error? Like this. It is already defined. So let me give. I'll run this coding. So what is the main method not found in the final keyword? Okay, it is given, and this is my subclass is extended, and public void display and super dot display info system. Okay, and that's the B. Okay. Unresolved compilation problem. So just executing something else. Test B, right? So just go here and you need to select test B. Right. So see here, the both the information has been displayed. So if I'm not going to give this super method, then what happens? It will throw a error. So it will not show this output if you're not going to give a super keyword. Okay. So and then to access overridden method for the superclass. So we already discussed this. And also if you want to get some data type, sorry, the field, then again you have to use this super keyword. So this is all about the overridden of the superclass. So next, we'll understand what is abstract class. I hope I didn't complete abstraction. So it is very, very important concept. Just go here, right click, new class, abstract class. So inside this abstract class, so whenever you create an abstract class, you need to know important things. So you need to give the abstract keyword, okay, for the class, and also if you are creating abstract method, should not you should not include you should not give a business logic. Okay, so that will be hidden. So example, we can take for a bank details. So bank statement will be, we will be getting the bank statement, right? So how much money has been credited and how it is debited. So we don't want that calculations. As simple as that. For that reason, for the real problem, we are going for this abstract ones. Okay, I'll tell you one simple example for this. So I'm changing this to be abstract class. Okay, so here I will give you one method. So public void display. Okay, this is a public void display. So system dot out dot println. So this is the abstract class. Okay, after this, I'm giving a class name. Okay, this is my abstract class. Now I'm going to create one more class. So that is, I'll be naming it as test to be. Okay, and I'm going to extend this to be a abstract class. So give this name. So class. So it is a. I'm giving a class name and I'm going to extend this to be a abstract class. So now I'll give you method. So public static void main string arguments of. Okay. So here, if it is not abstract method, then we can give a business logic. Otherwise, you should not give any business logic here. Okay. So now what I will do is here I'm going to create an object of main method. So here this is my subclass. I'm using this. I'm creating a variable. So new keyword and then of semicolon. Okay, and next again a dot display of method. So this is how it will be. So I'll run this code. So run as, so it is test B, right? So test B, just run this. So you can see this is a abstract class. Okay. So what is the main scenario is we have used the abstract keyword here. So if suppose I'm going to implement the abstract method, then what happens? So abstract method void, I'm giving make a sound of. So this is my abstract method. So here you should not define like this. You should not do this. Otherwise it will show an error. So what you have to do is you should not give anything in this place. So just declare it. So don't initialize any value or give the business logic. So next what happened is just come here. So now uh, so in this particular place, I'm going to give the value for this abstract method. So how can I give this? Public void and make sound of. So this is my what abstract method. And for this, I'm going to create another main class. If I'm going to use some subclasses, then what happens? So I will create one more class. So test you. Okay, this is my main method, sorry, main class. So inside this I'm going to give a logic for this make sound. So let it be, so this is a abstractive method. I'm giving the value. So now I'm not getting it is not throwing any error. So here what I will do is I will call this make sound as well. So copy this, put it here. If you run this, so run this to be test you, just click and run. You can see this is an abstract class and this is called as a abstract method. Okay, and what is called fully abstracted? So how can we say this is fully abstracted? So full abstraction, so we need to go for one important thing. So that is nothing but you need to use interface. Okay, so the fully abstraction is called as, the another term it is called as what? Interface. So public class interfaces. So now This will be called as fully abstracted class. This interfaces. So now what you have to do is fully instructed. That means it will have a group of abstracted method. So not only one, it will have a group of abstract method. So for that, I'm going to mention the keyword as interface. Here you should not give anything like class. Okay. Inside this, you will mention the methods, whatever you want. So, and also if you have some classes, example, I have a class J, okay. So here I should not use extends keyword to extend the class. Here I need to use in implements keyword to extend this interface. What is the name? It is an interface. So this is how it will be. So we'll see very simple example. So I'm giving one method. So void get area an integer length, an integer breadth. Okay, so this is the implementation of given. So I have not done anything. I have not given the business logic here, right? So instead of that, what I will do is I'll go here. Okay. So inside this, I'm going to have a some simple abstract method, that is implementations. So implementation, what I can do, so public void, what is the method name? So here I mentioned, so just get it here. Okay, inside this integer length, comma integer breadth. So within this, what I will do is I will give the implementation, that is business logic system.out.println. I'm giving this is a interface. Sorry, this is an interface, and I'm giving the, I'm going to get the that is expression. So into breadth. Within the expression. So after this, I will create one more main class. So main D. So in this only, I'm going to call this, right? So what is the class name? What is the subclass name? Subclass name is J, and the variable name, that is object name is A, nu J off. So A dot get area of, I'm going to give some two arguments because I mentioned two arguments, right? So it should be an integer value. So I'm giving 9 comma 10. What is the length and breadth of the area? So A dot get area of. So what is the error? Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mention the public, that is main method, right? So public static void main string arguments of. So we'll run this code. So what is interface? It is a fully abstraction. So in the interview, if it is asked, so please remember this thing. I think it is main D. So here you can see 9 into 10 is totally 90. Okay. And we already discussed what are the inheritance we have in Java, right? So like single, multiple, and then hierarchical. So these are the inheritance we have. So what happened is I already told you what are the two things we can't achieve. So we can achieve multiple multi-level. So we can achieve the multiple inheritance through a interface. That you should remember. Okay, in using interface, we can achieve this. Okay. Example, if it is too many, classes are there. Example, similar to the classes, interfaces can extend other interfaces. If you're going to extend the other interfaces, sorry, if you're going to implement the interfaces, then you should use the keyword extends, not implements. But if you're going to extend the interface, then you for using a class, then you should mention the keyword implements. Okay, and so what is the we have learned what is okay. We also know what is polymorphism. I already taught you that what is polymorphism. So polymorphism, if it has a same method but with a different parameters value. And what is encapsulation? So encapsulation is a one of the key feature of the object-oriented programming. So actually it refers for the bundling the fields and method inside a single class. Inside a single class, it will be accommodating these. It prevents the outer class from accessing and changing the field and the method of the class. It cannot be done. So only it will be within this, particular uh, inner class will have these details. So that is called as an encapsulation. So we see one simple example for this for encapsulation. In this encapsulation, what happened is I'm going to give the field. Okay. So fields are integer, length, breadth. These are the two values I've given. So now I'm going to constructed to initialize this value. So what is constructor? You need to use the same name which you have mentioned for the class, right? So just give it and then okay, listen. So in this encapsulation, so I'm going to give two parameters, okay? Integer length, comma integer breadth, and then closes off. So inside this, how will I call the things using this keyword, right? When you use the constructor. So length equals to length. And this dot breadth equals to breadth. Okay. And how we can the the method to calculate area. So how we can calculate. So first one is public void get area of. So here I'm giving the definition for this. So this is my constructor. Here I'm going to give one more method. This is a constructor one. This is a normal method. Okay. So here, what I will give is I'm going to calculate. So integer area is equal to length into breadth. So these are the concept. If you go for an interview, they will ask you to write this kind of things. If it is a startup company, they will ask you to write. And if it is a some CMM level good companies, then what they will give you, sir, so they will give some certain this MCQ questions regarding this coding, and you have to run and execute the code, and you have to find the error. After this, I will have a main class. So I'll give a main by inside this method. So public static void name string arguments of. So here what I will do is I will create an object of area. Okay, first I will create a, sorry, I will create an object for uh, this method, that is for that class, and then what I will do is I will pass the values length and how I'm going to do this. Let's check. So first thing is you need to mention the class name. What is the class name? It is encapsulation. Just give it here. Encapsulations, and then I'm giving some variable name. A is equals to new. Okay, and then copy and paste it. So what is the thing you have given? So here you need to mention. So I'm giving some 10 comma 14. So a dot, what is the method name which I given here? Just give it. Okay. So see what is we have done. So we have created a class, and the main purpose of this class is to calculate the area. It is calculating the area value, right? So next thing is I need to print this area value. Otherwise, I'm not getting it. So next, to calculate, this area, so we need two variables. That is length and breadth. Then, so we bundled these field and the methods inside a single class. So within this encapsulation, what I have bundled, I have this length and breadth and also the method name. So this is called as an encapsulation. So the field and method can be accessed from the other class as well. This is not a data binding. So this is only an encapsulation. So we are encapsulating. So we are just keeping similar codes together. Okay. So this will help us to keep the related fields and method together. So this process. So we'll be using a constructor and this one. Okay. And so data hiding is nothing but to restricting the access of our data member. So it will not be accessible. So this data member will not be accessible in data hiding, but in encapsulation we can access this. So I'll show you the output. Just 140. Okay. So give me 1 minute. Okay. So next thing is we'll see what is Java exception. I think I have completed. Let me check. Exception is not done for you. Okay. So I'll create one class for the exception. Okay. So exception handling. So so first exception is an unexpected event that occurs during the program executions. So for that purpose, we are going for this exception handling. Okay. So what is a hierarchy we'll follow? The first thing is a throwable. So I'll show you here. I'll show you the image so that you can understand. So example, we can go with this. Okay, this one. So see here, this is throwable. This is simple example. If exceptions can occur for many reasons. So what are the reasons are if the invalid user input is there and device failure and loss of network connections and physical limitations and code errors, opening an unavailable files. So un, these are all called as a what exceptions, right? So this is a flow we are following. The flow we see here. The first one is throwable, and this is error which is unrecoverable. And the exceptions we can do, there are two things. One is runtime exception and the IO exceptions, input and output exceptions. So first we'll see what is a runtime exception and IO exception. Runtime exception happens due to the programming errors. Okay, these are also known as the unchecked exception. So example, or not checked at the compile time but a runtime. Okay, it will not be checked in the compile time, but it will be checked in the runtime. Some common runtime exceptions are so improper use of an API or null pointer access, out of bounds, array bounds. If example, I've given some array as 5 and I'm checking for the 10th element. What is the element of 10th? I'm going to print the 10th element. So how it is possible? So that will throw an error. And if I divide some value divided by 0, then that is going to be arithmetic exceptions and null pointer exceptions. So these are all under the runtime exception. So what is input and output exception? So this is called as a checked exception. So they are checked by the compiler at the compile time itself. So here the runtime exception, this is not handled in the compile time. It will go to the runtime, then only we'll be able to handle. But here we can handle it in the compile time itself. And the programmer is promoted to handle these exceptions. Okay. So trying to open a file that doesn't exits a result. So file not found, or trying to read past the end of a file. So this will be called. And Java exception handling. So we'll see what are the ways to handle the exceptions. Give me one. So next thing is we come to know so what is checked and unchecked exceptions and how it will be handled. So if it is an input and output, the file may be not found, and it is a runtime, it will not be made at the compile time. It will be done at the runtime only. Okay, so we'll see how to use this. So how we can handle the Java exceptions. So Java exception handling. So we can do this. The first one is try catch block, and the next one is finally block, and the third one is throw and throws keyword. Okay. So first we'll understand what is Java try catch method. So try catch block is used to handle the exception. So we have placed the code that might generate the exception inside the try block. So what is the basic example? We'll see. So inside this, what I am doing is I'm creating a public static. So this is going to be my main method. Void main, inside the string arguments of. Okay. So here I'm trying to give a try keyword. Okay, in this try keyword, integer, the variable name is a I'm giving, and what I'm trying to do is I'm dividing some value with the 0. Then what happens? So we'll check this system.out.println. Here I'm giving the variable name as a. Okay, and I'm trying to print this. So here itself it shows some error. Syntax error, insert finally to complete the block element. Okay, so next what I'm trying to do is, so this is my a try thing. So what I suggest is, so if something is going to be an error, so we can put it like this. Okay, and then I'm going to catch this. So if it is an error, what error has to be thrown? So here I'm giving this to be a arithmetic exception. Just close this. Inside this system.out.println, and I'm giving a value of e. So let me check this. So the following mistakes. Arithmetic. Okay. So just run this. If I run this, what it throws the exception that it is, uh, so it will not be accepted divided by 0. Okay, so we are trying to divide a number by 0, right? So to handle the exception, we put the code 5 by 0 inside the try block. So to handle the exception, we are giving like this. Okay, so this is how it will be. And so what is Java finally block? So finally block is always executed no matter whether there is an exception or not. If there is exception or not, it will get executed first. Okay, so finally block is optional, and for each try block there can be only one finally block. Okay, so if I have you know if I have so many try blocks for each and every single block, so it will have only one final. That is what they are trying to say. Okay, so you have to remember two things for the finally block. First one is whether there is no exception or not, it will execute it. Second one is it will only have only one final block for the try block. Okay, so we'll see a simple example for this. So I have a try. Okay, it will be repeated the same. So here what I'm doing is, let's come down, and here after this I'm giving it as finally. So finally I'm going to mention some information. So it is definitely it's going to execute. This finally saying this is the finally block. Let's run this. So here you can see the error, and as well as the finally block also got executed. Okay. And what is a Java throw and throws keyword? So throw means is used to explicitly throw a single exception. Okay, it will throw a single exception. But when we throw an exception, the flow of program moves from the try block to the catch block. Okay, let's see. So how it works. So so you have to remember two things. The first one is using the throw keyword. it will use to explicitly throw a single exception will be thrown. And the second thing is the flow of program moves from the try to catch block. Okay, so I'll give you one the very simple example. Um, so I'm just removing all these things. So here I will have a throw and an exception. This is a throw keyword, and here I need to use a new keyword as well. Okay, so what I will do is I need to mention what is the error it's going to be thrown. So arithmetic exception. Inside this I'm giving trying to divide by 0. And then next to this I'm giving public static void main string arguments of. So here I will trying to give it as divide by 0 method. So what happens? So it shows some error, right? So in this example, we are explicitly throwing an error using a throw keyword. So the throws keyword is used to declare the type of exception that might occur within the method. It is used in the method declaration. So you need to mention it in the method declaration, not here. Okay. So so we'll see one more method. So one more example for this. So you should not do it like this. You should not use it like this. You have to mention it in the throw. So that is in the method, not in this way. So I'll create. So I'm giving import java.io.star. This is for multiple file. And here um, I'm giving a what is a class name? Exception handling. Right? So here what I will do is first I'm going to code that may generate the IO exceptions. Okay, IO exception we know that is a checked exception. So it will be occurring it will occur in the compile time itself. Okay, so file new file of. This is a file that is a variable name, and you're giving new keyword. And what is the name which I've given here? Just to that's to be repeated here as well. And so actually the file is a class, right? So inside this, I'm giving some text dot txt. So I have not created any file like this. So next is I'm giving one more thing that is file input stream. And the stream equals to a new keyword. And just repeating this as well of semicolon. Okay, once you've done this, I'm creating a main method. Okay, so public static void main string arguments of. So inside this only what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a try catch method. So 1 minute, what is the error? It's input stream. Yes, I need to mention the file. New. Okay, sorry. Inside this, what I have done. So I need to create a method for that only. What will the keyword I'm going to use? That is throw I'm going to use. So public static void. I'll give the method name as find file of. So now this file, for this check the exceptions, I'm going to use the throws keyword. So throws keyword, IO exception. Okay. So this is how it will be. So first you are giving the class name and you are creating the file. So that's gonna use the keyword throws. That is the IO exception. Why it's the IO exception? Because it is the input and output. So we are going to check that. Okay. In in this particular place, what I will do, I need to check with try. So what is in the try method? So it will find the file, right? What is a method name? So you need to mention it here. Okay. And then next one is the catch. So what the catch will do, it will check the that is exception, it will be checked here. So exception, I'm giving the variable name is E, and here system dot out dot println of E. Okay. So so why we are using this throw keyword? So it is used to declare the type of exception that might occur within this method. So some exception is going to happen within the method, then we will go with the throw keyword. So it is explicitly throw a single exception only. Okay. And also moves from try block to the catch block. So let's see the output for this. So what it's showing, the text dot txt file is not being specified. So that's how it is mentioning. So this is a very simple example. Okay. So next we understand so what is throw keyword. So now we will understand so how to give that. So what is the syntax for this? So for throws keyword, the syntax is nothing but first one is you need to give the access modifier. Okay. And then you didn't mention the return type. What is the return type, void or integer? And the method name, you need to give throws of. Throws of, what is the exception type? Exception 1 or 2. So that you need to mention here. So exception type 1, comma, exception type 2. So like this you need to mention, and here you need to mention the code within this. Yeah. So this is how we will be creating. A very simple as that. Okay. And what is called as a throw keyword? So the very simple difference, throws and throw. So here now we are going to see about throw keyword. So what is throw keyword? So let me create one more class. Okay, guys, sorry, ma. So now we'll see about throw keyword. So what is throw keyword is all about? So I created, so I create thing. So that is throw keyword. So this is a throw keyword. So this is nothing but, so explicitly throw a single exception again. And when an exception is thrown, the flow of program execution transfer from the same thing will be occurred. But what is the syntax is? Syntax is nothing but throw, and then you have to give the throwable object. So throwable object is an instance of a class, a throwable or a subclass of the throwable class. Okay. So we'll see the lifetime example. So how we can do this using a throw keyword. So simple example is, if I have, so you need to give the throwable objects. Okay. So just after creating this, I'm giving public static void. Here I'm giving some method name. So divide 0 off. So inside this, I'm giving throw new keyword, and then I'm mentioning this to be a arithmetic exception and trying to divide by 0. Okay. So next thing is, I'm going to create a main method. So public static void main string arguments of. So inside this, I'm going to call this method. So if I run this, okay, if I run this, what happened? It's showing. So trying to divide by 0 and the throw keywords dot java. So what happened is divided by 0 and the main method. It is also error. So what happened is, in this example, we are explicitly, see here, we are explicitly throwing an error, arithmetic exception. So before, what we did for throws, we need to we have to throw it using the method only, not like this. But throw, you can directly give it. So you can give throw and the throwable object. If you give that, it will get executed. So this arithmetic exception is a unchecked exception. It's usually not necessary to handle the unchecked exception. So now we are going to know about a very interesting topic that is called as a class annotation. That is, sorry, Java annotations. Let's see what is Java annotation. So first thing is, sorry guys. So it is a metadata. Okay. So metadata is nothing but data about a data. So for our program source code. So whatever we are writing a code, so in a real-time example, I'm telling. So while you are writing a code, so you should understand something, right? For that purpose, we are using this metadata. This is not visible to the other users. Okay. So see here, so this gives a additional information about the program to the compiler, but are not a part of the program itself. So you will not getting any output for that. So it is only for the compiler purpose we are giving this. So these notation do not affect the execution of the compiled program. So how it starts? So how we can start this annotation using at symbol. Okay, using this, and then you have to give the annotation name. What is the annotation name? So let's take an example. So before we have used at override, right? So the same thing. So what happened is, if example the method override, so we can give this at override annotation. Okay, it is not mandatory to use at override when overriding a method, but however, if we use it, the compiler gives an error if something is wrong. Okay, but it is not mandatory. So it is not mandatory use the at override. So already we come across that example, I think. So we check with this method overriding. I think I have deleted it. Okay, so in this annotations, so I'm giving a class name. So now what I will do is, if suppose I'm trying to override the method. So what happens? So public void the info of. So inside this, what I will give is, I'm just printing the value. So system.out.println. Within this, I'll be giving, this is a display info. Okay. And next thing is, I'm going to create one more class. The class is example. Okay, so the class name is something like this, and I'm extending this one too with this class, and I'm going to use the same class name, that is method name here. So for that, I'm using this annotation. So override. This is only for the compilers. Okay, so it will not be shown in your program output. If it is some error occurs, it will throw an error. Otherwise, it will be simply as it is. Okay. So public, just copy this. Here, I'm going to give in. So this is a override display info. In this place, sorry, this O should be capital, and in the class main, so main Z. Inside this, I'm giving as public static void main string arguments of. So within this, what I'm going to do, I'm just calling this method. So for that, I need to mention the class name. So what is a class name? To create an object, so we need the class name, right? So A is equals to new operator n of semicolon. Okay, what is the object? So A dot, here the method is display info. So We'll run this. So here, you can see this is a override display info has been given the output. Okay. So when this method is called, the method of subclass is called instead of the method of superclass. Okay. So what are the annotation formats we have? So annotation formats are, just I'll tell it in the notepad. So here, annotation formats. So in this formats, we have something called marker annotations. So marker annotation is nothing but, for example, do not contain any members and elements. It only used for marking the declaration. Okay. So do not contain members and elements. For that purpose we are using. So what you have to do is at annotation, you have to give the name here. That is annotation name of. So since these annotations, do not contain elements, a parenthesis can be excluded. For example, so what I'm trying to say is, if there is no parenthesis, so we can also remove this. Example, we can give it like this, but override. Okay. So this is called as a marker annotation. The next one is called as a single elements annotations. So in this, what happened is, it contains only one element. Okay, in the marker, it doesn't contain any element. So here it contains only one element. Okay, so the syntax is, that's annotation name. So here I will be assigning to the element name equals to the value. Element, like this, we need to specify. Okay. And in case the element name has been excluded as well, and the element values will be the default, then you have to give it like this. Just copy this. Instead of the element name, you need to mention the value. You have to give it as a value. So this is how it will be. And one more thing is multiple. So these are the annotation formats. Okay. So multiple elements annotations. So here, so if you have multiple elements, then you have to use it. So what you have to do, at annotation name, and then what is the element? So element 1 equals to some value, comma element 2 equals to some value. So like this we need to specify. Okay. So now we will see what are the annotation placements. So what are the placements we have? Annotation placements. Example, any declarations can be marked with an annotation by placing it above the declaration. Okay. As of Java 8, the annotation can also be placed before a time. So example, we see the first one is above declaration. So if you declaring above the some important thing, then that is before the method, then that is called as a above declarations. We'll see some example for this. Okay, so here I will tell you one example for this one. Okay, so how to do the annotation placements. So what I will do is I'll create one more class, declaration. So here, so first I'll import java.util. Okay, so this is my class. In this class, I'll be having some above declaration. So what is at suppress warnings, and the value is gonna be unchecked. Okay, so this is a annotations I'm giving for this method. So let's see what happens. So here I'm mentioning some method void words list of. Okay, inside this I'm giving a name, that is a class name. So class name is going to be array list, and what is the variable name I'm going to mention is, that is word list, a new array list of. Here you need to mention this one. Okay, and so this cause an unchecked warning. If example I'm giving uh, this word list and dot add, and I'm mentioning as ms hyphen sap. So like this I'm giving, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give the println to be what, the word list. I'm trying to print this value. So I'm what is the first thing? So simply what I'm doing is I'm giving the annotation for this, and I have created a method. So in this method, I'm just taking this word list. Okay. So using this word list, so here I missed one thing, that is P. Okay. So in this, this is my variable name. I'm going to use this and add the ms sap. Okay. So and also I'm trying to print this value. And after this, using a main method. So public static void main, a string arguments of. So within this, I'm going to get this. I'm going to call this method. So what it shows, the method over list is undefined for the type of above declaration. So like this, it is throwing. So let me check. So it is suppress warnings and the value is unchecked and static void words list in the array list. Yes, and using this array list I'm going to add some values. System.out.println. I'm trying to get the value for this. I try to run this code. So it is showing error here. It is undefined. So in this program is compiled without using this unchecked. But let me check. So actually what happened is we will get the output as this one. So word, so I'll give you some text also. Okay, sorry. So here I missed yes because that is a method name. This is the a variable which we have created. So now it will work fine. Just run this. You can see the output here. So here I didn't get any error because it is working fine, right? But if there is any error, it will show the error there. Okay. So this is no what we have mentioned here is we cannot define the generic type of the array list. We cannot mention the generic type of the array list. So we can fix this warning by specifying the generics inside the angle bracket. For that purpose, we are using this. Okay. And this is the string. So what is a type of annotations we need to know? What are the different types we have? We also discussed that. So after completing this part, we'll be into the server-side scripting. Rayalseema. Okay, Friday, most probably I'll try to complete Java syllabus. And just I want to know one thing.